That's Mommy's bedroom friend.
It starts on an ordinary Sunday afternoon in a small suburban town outside of Chicago. The kind of day that feels too calm to ever turn dark. Families fill the park. Dogs chase frisbees. Kids climb jungle gyms. Parents sip iced coffee on benches. The sun hangs lazily behind drifting clouds. But beneath that perfect picture book peace, something unravels quietly. Something that no one will see coming. Our story centers on a woman named Lauren Pierce, 32 years old, a school counselor, single mother to a bright, curious 5-year-old boy named Ethan. To anyone who knew them, Lauren and Ethan looked like the picture of stability. She worked hard, smiled often, showed up to every parent meeting, and made Ethan's lunches in little dinosaur-shaped boxes. The neighbors called her the kind mom. But kindness, as we know, can hide things even a child can sense. It was Lauren's weekend with Ethan. The plan was simple. A quiet day at Greenfield Park, a few photos, some ice cream, and a visit to the duck pond Lauren parked near the playground, unbuckled Ethan, and carried his tiny backpack filled with juice boxes and crayons. They sat under a tree near the pond, where he liked to draw ducks that never looked like ducks, but always made her laugh. And then, like a crack in a flawless mirror, something broke the peace. Ethan froze. His crayon dropped onto the grass. His little hand, still sticky from melted ice cream, pointed toward a man across the park. A tall, clean-cut stranger in a navy jacket, sitting alone on a bench, feeding pigeons. Ethan's voice was innocent, but his words sliced through the calm air like a blade. "That's Mommy's bedroom friend." Lauren's heart stopped. For a second, she didn't even process what he'd said. She forced a nervous laugh, thinking maybe she'd misheard him. "What did you say, honey?" Ethan repeated it, louder, clearer. "That's Mommy's bedroom friend, from the night when you said Daddy can't come inside." The world around her faded. The laughter, the wind, the sound of kids on the swings. All of it vanished. Her throat tightened. She looked at the man across the park, her pulse hammering. He wasn't looking at them. Or maybe he was. She couldn't tell. He had dark sunglasses, a calm posture, one leg crossed over the other like he belonged there. Lauren grabbed Ethan's hand, her voice trembling. "Sweetheart, don't say things like that." But the boy wasn't scared. He looked almost puzzled. "But it's true. He was in your room. He told you not to tell Daddy." And that's when Lauren's stomach turned to stone. Because Ethan wasn't wrong. There had been someone, one night months ago, after a messy separation, a glass of wine, and a moment of weakness, a man she met through a friend, someone who made her feel seen again. He wasn't supposed to come back. He wasn't supposed to be here. Lauren turned to look again, trying to recall his face. But the man across the park wasn't quite the same. The jawline seemed similar, the posture familiar, but she couldn't be sure. Her brain screamed that it was impossible, yet her body knew fear. The kind of fear that grips before the mind even catches up. She stood abruptly. "We're going home." Ethan pouted. "But we just got here." "I said now." Her tone made the boy flinch. She scooped him up and hurried toward the car. The man on the bench looked up, tilting his head slightly. Not following, not waving, just watching. As Lauren buckled Ethan into his seat, her hands trembled. She glanced in the rearview mirror. The man was still there, the pigeons scattered around his feet. He hadn't moved. She started the car and pulled away, her heart thundering, trying to convince herself it was all in her head. But when she checked her mirror again, he was standing, watching the car leave. That night Lauren couldn't sleep. Every creak in the house felt amplified. She checked the locks 3 times, left a hallway light on, and sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone. She hadn't seen the man in months, hadn't even remembered his name at first, but now the memory was sharp. Ryan. That was it. Ryan from a mutual friend's dinner. A quiet, polite man who seemed harmless, until she realized he'd remembered too much about her life, her job, her son, her schedule. It had ended awkwardly, a brief connection, then a silence that turned uneasy. He'd messaged her a few times afterward, texts she ignored. Eventually he stopped, or so she thought. At 2 a.m. her phone buzzed. A text. No name. Just a number she didn't recognize. The message read, "Did Ethan recognize me today?" Lauren's breath caught in her throat. Her stomach churned. Her fingers trembled as she typed back, "Who is this?" No response. Just the blinking dots. And then nothing. She stayed awake till dawn, the phone clutched in her hand. When she finally drifted into a light sleep, she dreamed of the park, of Ryan's face behind those sunglasses, and Ethan's innocent voice echoing in the distance. "That's Mommy's bedroom friend." By morning, she decided to do what she always did, pretend things were fine. Routine, breakfast, cartoons, smiles, but under that mask, she was unraveling. That week, small things started happening. A car parked near her house every night. Same model, same color as Ryan's. Footsteps outside when she took out the trash, a voicemail with nothing but breathing. She reported it to the police once. They sent a patrol car, found nothing, told her to keep an eye out. The officer who came by, a kind, middle-aged man, asked gently, "Is there anyone who might have a reason to scare you?" She just shook her head. No one. Because saying it out loud made it real. Days passed. The messages stopped. The car disappeared. The tension eased, or maybe she just convinced herself it had. Until the following Saturday. Ethan was in his room building Lego towers when he ran out, excited. "Mommy, there's a man in the backyard. He waved at me through the window." Lauren froze mid-step. "What window?" "My window." She bolted down the hallway, her pulse pounding, and threw open Ethan's curtains. The backyard was empty. The gate was closed. Only the wind moved the branches. She stepped outside, scanning the fence line, her eyes darting to the tree line beyond the property. Silence. Nothing. But on the windowsill, a small folded piece of paper. She unfolded it slowly, her breath catching, written in neat block letters. "You shouldn't let him talk so much." She called the police again, this time trembling. 2 officers came. They searched, found no one, no fingerprints, no signs of forced entry. They said maybe it was a prank, but Lauren could see in their faces they didn't believe that either. That night she packed a small overnight bag and drove Ethan to her sister's place across town. She told her it was just for a change of scenery, but deep down, she knew She was running. Over the next few days, she tried to piece her life back together, changed her number, installed cameras, blocked social media. Life resumed, or at least appeared to, until one morning she checked the footage from her new door camera. At 3:14 a.m., the screen showed a tall man in a navy jacket standing motionless at her door. He never rang the bell, never knocked, just stood there. For 6 minutes, then turned and walked away. The police took the footage, promised to investigate, but she knew how those things went. The file would sit somewhere under a pile of other unsolved reports. And then silence again. No messages, no sightings. Weeks went by. Lauren started to believe maybe it was over. Until one evening after work, she went to pick Ethan up from her sister's house. Her sister met her at the door, pale. Ethan's been saying something strange again. Lauren's heart skipped. What? Her sister hesitated. He said his friend from Mommy's room came back, the one from the park. He said he talks to him in his dreams now. Lauren's voice cracked. In his dreams. Her sister nodded. He said the man told him a secret, that he's not supposed to tell Mommy yet. That night Lauren didn't sleep at all. She stayed beside Ethan's bed, watching his small chest rise and fall, terrified of what he might dream next. Around 3 a.m. he stirred, whispering softly in his sleep. One chilling sentence. He said he misses you, Mommy. The following days blurred together. Anxiety, exhaustion, paranoia. Lauren started avoiding windows, jumping at noises. She considered moving again, but moving felt pointless. Ryan, or whatever this was, wasn't bound by location anymore. A week later, she got a call from a detective. They'd identified the man in her footage. His name was Ryan Halbrook. And here's where it gets strange. Ryan Halbrook had died 6 months earlier, in a car accident, 2 states away. Lauren's voice barely held. That's impossible. The detective was quiet for a moment before continuing. His body was found in March. Are you sure it's the same person? She didn't answer. She couldn't. That night she sat alone in the living room, every light on. She scrolled through old messages on her phone, ones she thought she'd deleted, texts from Ryan, voice notes, even a photo of him smiling. Same sunglasses, same jacket. She stared at it until the room seemed to tilt. Then, as if summoned by her memory, her phone lit up with a new message. No name. Just the same number that had once sent her that chilling text. This time it read, "You shouldn't have told anyone." The message vanished before she could screenshot it. The next morning her doorbell rang. A small package sat on the porch. No return address. Inside was a child's crayon drawing, one of Ethan's, clearly taken from his backpack. It showed 3 figures, Mommy, Ethan, and a man in a blue jacket. They were all holding hands. Lauren's hand shook as she read the single line, scrawled in the corner, written in handwriting that wasn't Ethan's. Family forever. That was the last straw. She packed her things, moved states, changed names, jobs, schools. For years she told no one, and Ethan. He stopped mentioning the man. He grew older, quieter. But sometimes, when he stares out the window at night, his lips move like he's whispering to someone only he can see. And once, on his 10th birthday, when Lauren tucked him in, He smiled sleepily and said, "Mommy, he still watches us. He says he's proud." Is? Lauren froze, her heart dropping into her stomach. "Who, baby?" He yawned. "Your bedroom friend." And then he turned over and drifted off to sleep. Lauren sat there in the dark, trembling, staring at the window. The curtains moved slightly, just enough for moonlight to spill across the floor. And for a split second, she swore she saw a silhouette in the reflection. Tall, still, wearing a navy jacket, then gone. Maybe it was her imagination, maybe it was the wind, or maybe some things never really leave. They just find new ways to stay close. And sometimes, when you think a secret is buried, all it takes is a child's innocent voice to dig it back up. Moral lesson: what you hide in the dark will always find its way to light, sometimes through the eyes of someone too young to understand what they've seen. Call to action. If you felt that chill, if you made it to the end of this story, tap that like button, share this with someone who loves a good mystery, and make sure to subscribe. Because next time, the secret might be closer than you think.